When life gives you lemons, say fuck the lemons and bail. The wise words of Paul Rudd. And when life gives you a podcast, say it's an acronym.
For some whack-ass movie podcasting.
It's the swamp, and it's an acronym, and it stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting. And we are rolling into rom-com months, and you're not gonna hear the end of it from me because I'm not happy about it. What month was I like, you guys are gonna hear me complain a lot this month? And then I complained a lot that month. I forget which one
I don't
it was,
know.
But,
what month was that? Was it the Male Manipulator March?
No. I forget. Yeah, maybe, because I'm like, usually we do ones we like so much.
Yeah.
Usually we do all movies we like a lot.
I think it was the Male Manipulator ones, but we didn't complain that much, because we just spun it to our own narrative.
That's so true. But you're gonna hear me complain a lot this month because I'm not really a rom-com person, and I try to say, like, I'm like, yeah, Ghost. I try to convince you, I'm like, Ghost. We can do Ghost. It's not a rom-com. That's just like a straight-up drama.
I was gonna say, you sent me, like, a list with, like, a handful of things on it, and I was just sitting there, I was like, simply, like, half of these are not rom-coms. Nothing about these movies are funny. Patrick Swayze dies. That's the least funny thing I could think of.
But I think I'm like a staunchly anti-rom-com, and I wouldn't say you like particularly care for them. Like,
no.
I think you hate them viscerally a little less than me, but I don't think we as a whole are particularly rommy-commy gals.
I wouldn't say I hate them. I don't think that we produce very many good rom-coms anymore. I think it's a dying movie format. Not format, but you know what I mean. Genre. Yeah. It's a dying genre for sure, which I don't like. I would love like a good rom-com with like some fun leading ladies, some fun leading men.
You know who is built for the rom-com, and they just continue to cast him in action adventure movies that it just doesn't make sense? Tom Holland.
Yep. Built.
What a charismatic, would be such a good, like, love interest leading man in a rom-com. Like, get him and Zendaya in a rom-com.
Well, it's because he's a little boy.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But they're trying to have him be like a muscly, staunch man in a lot of, like, action movies. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, what is this?
Yeah.
He's, like, he just doesn't, I don't know. Anyways, I would like to see Tom Holland in a rom-com.
I would love to as well.
And I do think a lot of the rom-coms, in my opinion, that are, like, revered as being, like, I don't know,
the classics,
the top ones or whatever.
They're like 80s, 90s,
are just
right?
Like, well,
that's one thing. I will watch rom-coms, but it's always like an 80s, 90s rom-com. Like hardly ever anything
those ones
else.
I have more respect for those ones than I think it's like. So we're covering Forgetting Sarah Marshall. If you didn't,
by the way,
at this point, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, 2008, and I think these like early 2000s, this pocket of rom-coms I fucking despise. Like. Just the star-studded cast, the movie poster, the DVD cover, somebody made it in the app PixArt. You know that app that you can pick stitch? Somebody pick-stitched together everyone's IMDb
It was actually made in Kid Pix instead.
Kid Pix. Somebody Kid Pixed together. They just Googled top actors right now and just put them all together. And they said, we're making a rom-com with these 50 different people.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a smash hit. And it just, to me, I'm like, why is this worth anyone's time? But that's how I felt about this movie. And so where did you said you asked your sister Alyssa for suggestions, or how did this one really come about?
So I just know that this is her favorite rom-com, and I had never seen it, but it seemed like a pretty decent one. And I do like Jason Segel. Personally, I think he's a pretty solid actor. I think he doesn't get enough credit, and I think he is an interesting one to cast as like a leading guy, which he definitely falls into. Like when we talked about Ruby Sparks and everything like that, it was very much like the sort of quirky guy that like instead of like that's the thing about the early 2000s rom-coms is they stopped casting like the leading man and everything like that, and like just the like blatantly Hollywood hot people, and they started like going for like the quirky funny guys and everything like that. I think which was in part to try to like appeal to like a male audience for sure, because like rom-coms are for women basically is what it's been for the last like 50 years. So I think that's where it came from, and like I didn't hate it because like I like to see like some new actors in the mix and everything like that, and I don't think it always needs to be a Hollywood hot person, but like if it's gonna be a mediocre movie, at least cast like the most sexy people you could ever think of.
Right. I think it's really interesting that you bring up Ruby Sparks in this movie as far as untraditional casting, because Ruby Sparks was written by Zoe Kazan, who cast herself and her husband to be the two roles. And you know who wrote this movie?
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel! He cast himself to be the main guy. So it's very Adam Sandler to me. And the way that he's like, I wrote Grown Ups, so me and my buddies could all go hang out in a tropical place, and I'm gonna cast Salma Hayek to be my wife because that makes sense, right? And it's very like that for me, where he's like, I wrote a rom-com about a kind of goofy, dumpy guy, aka me, who has to decide between two women, Kristen Bell and Mila Kunis. Like, what the fuck? Absolutely the fuck not. I'm like, yeah, you know who wrote this movie? You.
I like... For me, this movie does sound like is like kind of realistic though, because like, do you remember like it wasn't even like within like the last like 5 years? It was probably within the last like 2 years when everyone was like kind of like obsessed with like the dad bod kind of guy and everything like that.
Oh, for sure.
This is what that is.
I think
like you will see like the hottest women you have ever seen in the world with like, and like no disrespect to Jason Segel, but like.
He just looks like some guy.
He's just a dude.
Just some man.
He's just a dude. Yeah. He's not Tom Holland. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like those are two entirely different worlds we're comparing.
You know what I
that's
mean?
A tiny boy. That is a 6'4", stocky Jewish Minnesota man, and like a tiny little Twinkie British boy. That's
you know what I mean though. You get what I'm getting at.
I do.
But, like, yeah, like, either one of the, like, it's so funny because, like, either one of those men, like, these days could be seen with, like, a Mila Kunis type.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So when you texted me, I was basically like, we had decided to do rom-com month because your mom had suggested it because this month is my, like, wedding. I'm, like, having kind of, like, a very pseudo, no bridal activities. There's no like church or dresses or like dancing.
Everyone's naked, actually.
Like,
no dresses.
Yeah, but I'm having people over to a cookout under the guise of it being Henry and I's quote unquote wedding. So that's your mom was like, oh, it's your wedding month, so you have to do rom-coms. And then neither of us chose to think about that until literally yesterday. And then I was like, oh, so are we doing that? And you're like, yes. And then you texted me, forgetting Sarah Marshall. And I wrote it down as saving Sarah Marshall.
Is it Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah, because I had literally never heard of this or seen this movie ever in my life. So I did a preemptive. So you texted me forgetting Sarah Marshall, and I wrote down what I thought it was going to be. And I said... Rachel McAdams.
That's a fair guess, though, is because she is every
right.
leading lady in every rom-com ever.
And so her and some other white, conventionally attractive Hollywood blockbustery type actor are going to be in a kind of a situation, and I thought it was going to be somebody has amnesia. Like, she loses amnesia, like they're married or something, and she has amnesia, and she loses all memory, and then they have to, like, re-fall in love again.
This is a movie.
Because she lost all her memories.
This is a movie with her and Channing Tatum. Hold on, what's it called? Hold on, this is, like, fully a movie. This is, like, an entire movie. Hold on.
Is it called Forgetting Rachel McAdams? Like,
The Vow. It's called The Vow.
Great. Well, I fully was thinking that was going to be the plot of this movie that we were watching here on this day. And so then what I went on to do from there was I Googled Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and I just looked at the movie cover, the movie poster, that has Jason Segel standing next to Mila Kunis, and then Russell Brand standing next to Kristen Bell. They're sort of like on the beach. And then I wrote from there what my prediction synopsis for that was going to be. And my prediction was that Kristen Bell and Jason Segel are married, and they're like a suburban, average, we're both accountants kind of couple, and that Russell Brand and Mila Kunis are married, and they're like, he's a rock star, and she's the stage manager, and they have a really, like, kind of toxic, but really passionate marriage, public relationship, and then both of them... And so they're, like, fighting, but then also Jason Segel and Kristen Bell, they're also fighting. So they go to some sort of couples retreat where they swap wives. And then at first they're really into it, but then they realize, you know, there are things about their significant other that they really miss and appreciate. And then they, you know, they solve their marital problems by, like, wife swapping. That's what I thought it was going to be based on the cover. It's probably also a plot to a movie that actually exists. But,
oh, yeah. That probably is one. Interesting takes. Yeah, no. Which is not at all what this movie is.
Yeah, I was sorely disappointed. That would have been way more interesting.
Should we give a very brief recap if we can?
A smoking hot recap is that Jason Segel, and he is a music composer dating Kristen Bell, who's a TV star. Basically, she's on a Law and Order SVU. It's a parody called, like, Crime Scene, Scene of the Crime. And...
No, you're good.
You got fireworks? I got fireworks. And they're dating, and she breaks up with him, basically. And he's miserable because she's kind of more successful, and he wasn't really seeing it coming. And so then he is down in the dumps, and he decides to go on a trip to Hawaii. But as soon as he gets there, she is also there with her new boyfriend, who basically, when she broke up with him, she told him, like, yeah, there's somebody else. And her new boyfriend is Russell Brand, who's a rock star. And he's feeling very, like, oh no, I feel so horrible because now I have to watch my ex. But he refuses to leave because basically he's like, I'm not going to let her win. So he sticks around, and then he kind of starts a little flirtationship with the front desk person. Basically, she seems to just work everywhere at this resort. Yeah. She seems to be like, she's a waitress, and she works the front desk, and she event coordinator. Yep. Like, she's doing it all, I guess. But Mila Kunis, so he sort of starts to sing up with Mila Kunis, and to get over Kristen Bell, but then Kristen Bell is realizing that her and Russell Brand's relationship isn't really working out, and it's basically just Jason Segel feeling sorry for himself. And then in the end, he leaves kind of on bad terms with everyone. Him and Kristen Bell have finally called it quits. He doesn't make it work with Mila Kunis, and then he produces a Dracula puppet rock opera that he then invites Mila Kunis to, and in the very end, they kiss and say, we're gonna try to make this work.
Yeah.
And I'm skipping over most of the details, but it's mostly just, like, them being at this Hawaiian resort, like, bonking about, doing little hijinks.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into it. Because I do, first of all, want to start with, there was so many crotch shots in the first 10 minutes of this movie. Because you asked me right off the bat, you said, Emily, please tell me you watched the unedited version. And I said, absolutely I did. And it's, like, that's the thing, is that this movie started off, like, pretty strong for me. And we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, is because this movie is full of, like, pretty decent, like, high funny points. But, like, there's not enough of them to balance out, like, the in-between, where there's not a whole lot going on. But for me, like, the 10 minutes of, like, crotch shots, like, maybe this just says something about me having a child's humor, but this was hysterical to me.
Oh, really? I loved it. Why am I being forced to look at Jason Segel's penis over and over again? I'm like, who the fuck wrote this movie where they made Jason Segel get fully frontal nude, like, 9 different times? I'm like, oh, Jason Segel wrote. Like, he was like, I need everyone to know that my dick is proportionate to my body. I think it would have been funny maybe just the once in the breakup
Maybe
scene.
just the once. It was like...
It happens like 4 more times.
It was like...
We see his dick a lot
like
in this movie.
3 times in the breakup scene and then, like, once at the end kind of thing. But, like, I don't know. Like, for me, like, I didn't hate it because, mind you, this came out in, 2008? I think is what it was. Like, you will see, like, in any other, like, movie, in any other, like, maybe not rom-com particularly, but it's, everyone's fucking tits are out. Every woman, her boobs are on full display for, like, at least, like 5 minutes of screen time and everything like that. This, for 2008, felt like, and, like, mind you, it was the butt of a joke and all that, but, like, it still felt, like, a little fresh in my mind. 'Cause, like, for me, like, just now, like, what is it, like, 12 years later, are we getting the full frontal dongs that even out the playing field? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely not. But watch any HBO show nowadays, and they are really ripping that shit
but still,
hard.
movies-wise?
I see what you mean, but I think it kind of cheapens it when they do the Mila Kunis tit shot.
Yeah, that didn't have to happen, I guess. But, like...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it would have made more sense if that was their intention. Like, oh, typically in rom-coms, it's so much female nudity, let's try to balance it out. But then, like, literally, they do a Mila Kunis tits up thing. Yeah. So that just didn't do it for me. And I also was just like, what? Like, it just didn't fit the vibe of the rest of the movie. The humor was not too... I mean, there were, like, some
consistent.
Sex scenes. There were some sex jokes, but it wasn't consistently, like, that level of raunch.
Yeah.
That I was expecting, like, it opened really strong with this, and I was like, damn, we're gonna get a lot of this. And then I was like,
it wasn't that raunchy.
Otherwise, it's kind of just like a quote-unquote, like, adult movie, which I can see how so what had happened was I found it for free, and the opening credits said, some scenes have been removed to air on TV, and I was like, well, no, I'm not watching this version. It has the most inappropriate scenes removed. I need the whole experience for the putt. So then I went and I rented it. I rented the unedited, version. And I was like, yeah, honestly, like, if you cut the dick scenes and, like, maybe a couple of those, like, really gratuitous long fucking scenes, doesn't really change anything to me.
Fair enough, yeah. I just thought it was, like, I did like the concept of him getting broken up with while he's naked.
That happened to him in real life.
What? No, I didn't know that. No, so this was fully, like, ripped from, like... Okay.
Oh, yeah, his real life. So he wrote this movie based off of his breakup with Linda Cardellini. So the two of them met on... Yeah, the two of them met on Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, my God.
And he said, and so he said that she was a great girlfriend, really amicable breakup, but it was just about, like, being two kind of Hollywood people and having to see each other a lot, and, like, having to see, her also dating other famous people and being out, and that was kind of the source. But the naked breakup wasn't with her, but he said he drew really strongly from 3 distinct relationships, but the most famous being Linda Cardellini that he referenced. But one of the other ones, he said he was getting dumped while he had just gotten out of the shower and was fully nude. He's like, oh, and the whole time I couldn't even process what she was saying because I was thinking, damn, I need her to leave so I can write this down because this is so funny. He's like, I am so naked and she's dumping me and trying to be like, it's not you, it's me. And he's like, and my soft dick was just out. And he's like, and I had to write this down. And I was like, you know what? I love that. And also he actually, after Freaks and Geeks, he was kind of out of work for a while before then How I Met Your Mother. So he's out of work for a while, and he really did write a Dracula Muppet rock opera. That puppet he had, that was the one that he made for it. So he really was trying so a lot of this is really based in, like, things that actually happened to him. See, obviously, like, dramatized.
That's the tough thing, is that, like, all of these things together are really funny. I think they just could have been executed better. I think directing-wise, like, it really fell flat.
And the writing wasn't good.
It was,
concept-wise, Jason Segel should have taken this to somebody who had written more, just the dialogue wasn't snippy enough for me, the jokes didn't always land, and there were some really fucking funny actors in this movie who just didn't make me laugh. Bill Hader did not make me laugh. Kristen Wiig did not make me laugh. And I'm like, that's wild, because you look at the cast of this movie, and you're like, holy fuck, this is gonna really be, like, hilarious. And then I took note, the first time I laughed, even a little bit, was 23 minutes in, and it was immediately when Jonah Hill stepped on screen. The first shot of Jonah Hill being at the restaurant being like, dude, I can't fucking sell you weed right now. I'm at my place of work. He's like, I'll come after, but you can't fucking show up here. That's the first time I did like a and I was like, okay, I'll mark it down. And I think we disagree on this. I didn't like Paul Rudd's character, but at least was a little bit more funny and developed to me, and made me kind of chuckle. And when he's like, the weather outside is weather, I thought that was funny. Like, it was just, like, stupid. So him and Jonah Hill really were the only times I really ever laughed. And then, obviously, the Dracula musical I thought was fucking awesome. But other than that, nobody really made me laugh in this movie. I'm like, it wasn't really funny.
I did like Bill Hader in this. I thought he not amazing, obviously not, like, typical Bill Hader and everything like that, but, like, there was one scene where it was, like, he, like, ended up following Kristen Wiig to, like, her hotel room sort of thing. And this is, like, right after he found out that they're staying at the same resort and everything like that. And you just hear Bill Hader on the phone screaming at him that he's a fucking idiot.
Don't do it! Yeah. I really liked, actually, the dynamic between Bill Hader and his wife and the sort of, like, the Zoom calls they had. There was so much potential there for that to be really funny. Yeah. And at points, I was like, oh, it's getting there. And then it just, like, stopped.
Yeah.
Being there.
I did I wouldn't say I loved the guy that played Jack McBrayer. He played I don't even know how to say his name. It's Daryl. It's spelled so fucking weird. But he was like the guy on his honeymoon with his wife, kind of thing.
Oh my god, Keith! Kenneth! Kenneth's from 30 Rock. Have you ever seen 30
No,
Rock?
I haven't seen 30 Rock, unfortunately.
Oh my god, like, if you thought he was funny in this,
I wouldn't say
such a fucking standout in that show.
Okay. Yeah, he was pretty good. I did really like his delivery, and, like, his lines, like, were some of the quippiest ones or whatever. It was like, God wouldn't put a playground next to a sewage system.
I liked that one. I thought that whole storyline was something that could have been removed, though.
It could have been removed, or I think it could have been, like,
enhanced.
Exactly. Yeah. It was just sitting, it was sitting at that, like, mild level that it was just, like, it was, like, comedic relief, but it wasn't enough comedic relief, but if they put more effort into it, like, then, like, it would have been a lot better. But also they could have taken it out.
And the whole situation of, like, his wife is so horny, yet he can't fuck her because he's too religious. I think they just sat in a place that was, like, dirty but comfortable. Whereas I'm like, okay, you showed a penis, so, like, get more, not even graphic, but you can just, like, be funnier than that. You can just, like, say things that are a little more, like, absurd. In my opinion, because a lot of the things just felt that amount of short where I'm like, you could have cut Paul Rudd. You could have cut all the surfing scenes. You could have cut all that, and it really wouldn't have changed too much. You could have cut all of the, I don't know his name, but Kenneth, the guy and his horny wife. Yeah. And, like, you could have cut all that. It would have changed anything about the movie. And this movie was 2 hours, and it did not need to be 2 hours. It could have been 90 minutes.
Yep, that's for sure.
It was just, but, like, and no rom-com should ever be, I mean, 2 hours isn't asking too much. If it had been over 2 hours, I would have been like, what the actual fuck? But I don't know, a ton of things could have been cut, but I totally agree that was such a missed opportunity, because there were some moments with him that were so funny, and then everything else, I'm like, oh, okay, Russell Brand shows him how to fuck a chess piece, and then it shows him successfully fucking his wife. Ha ha ha. So funny. Like, no.
Well, I think Russell Brand,
that
I'm so glad that Russell Brand is out of, like, the era that, like, he was, like, popular in, which was this time period. It was like 2007 to like maybe 2012, maybe. That might be a stretch. I've never found Russell Brand funny. I think it's just like, oh, he has a funny British accent and all that shit, which is like just like it's so overdone, and it's just him being so it's just not comedy. It's just him being like an obnoxious person.
Yeah, he was just like that. In real life, he's literally just, like, misogynistic and obnoxious and loud. And then they just let him roll up to movie sets and be himself, and that was considered comedy. Yeah. And in my opinion, the biggest missed opportunity in this movie was to do something more funny or more smart with the person Kristen Bell cheats on, like, with the new boyfriend character. Yeah. Because just having Russell Brand being like, I'm a British rock star and I'm a bit of a prick. Like, no. Like, they're just so, even if he had been, like, older, if he was, like, an old man, that would have been funnier. If he was, like, an old rocker. Or even just anything about him, or if he was like a filmmaker, he's like a douchey director, that would have been funny. Just anything that was more like commentary on something, or just something different. It was just so predictable and stupid, and none of it was funny. And especially knowing Russell Brand, and knowing that that's just him being himself, and that he's a fucking asshole in real life, and that he just, like, does not deserve praise, the time of day, to be on my TV screen. I'm just over it. I mean, he hasn't done anything too horrific, but he's just, like, notably kind of a piece of shit to women. Yeah. Misogynistic. Pretty recently, he's been, like, very anti-vax. Just, like, he just says obnoxious things just to be contrarian and obnoxious. Yeah. And at that point, you're just, like, being counterproductive and stupid. Yep. And we have definitely culturally moved on from him. But just seeing him in this movie, I'm like, oh, this was really 2008.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. Yeah, it was very boring in that way. And Kristen Bell's character, too. So boring.
Or if he had been, like, really dumb. If he was, like, super hot and ripped, but just dumb as a rock.
If they made him a fucking himbo.
Yes, that would have been, just to be more of a foil.
If they just put Channing Tatum in his place instead.
Or, you know what, my casting is, swap Russell Brand for Russell Crowe. Have Russell Crowe be the new love interest and be like,
just
like
playing
a sugar
himself,
daddy.
Russell Rock.
Yes, Russell Rock. Yes.
He's gonna sing his old hits.
I was just bored with it, but yeah, like an old rocker, that would have been so funny.
Yeah, no, just Russell Brand fucking sucks. Like, he really irks me in this.
I do almost wish that Kristen Bell's character had been a little bit more redeeming, because she fucking sucks, and never ever are you rooting for them to get back together.
Mm-mm.
Like, not a once was I like, oh, you know, like, maybe if they work things, because that's what the tension and the pull is, that you want there to be. And basically, the only thing they had was that they just had, like, a big history, that they'd been together for, like, 5 years or whatever. And that, you know, he was such a good guy, but she just didn't appreciate him because she was too famous, or whatever, was, like, the whole thing. But I was like, that's just, like, not intriguing enough of a storyline to, like, really get me invested. And then it wasn't funny enough on top of that for me to really care.
I did like when, like, she got real with him and she kind of put him in his place, and she was like, you stopped fucking caring. Like, at least, like, that part, like, was the only thing, like, I was like, okay.
I
wouldn't say I liked it, but, like, I was like, this is, like, a better plot point, I guess. It's something, yeah.
To me, I just, like, the thing about a rom-com is that there has to be romance, right? And I feel like there needs to be romance that I'm, like, rooting for. And I think this wanted me to root for him and Mila Kunis, like, 'cause they're like, she's fun and fresh and flirty and it's new, and she's helping him get over his shitty
I wanted him to
ex.
get his life together alone. You should never go from one person to another person, like, immediately. Like, that is the worst thing you could ever do. And, like, I had written this down. I was like, I hate that narrative that you need, like, another person to get over another person, especially if you have your shit to work on. And that's one of the reasons your last relationships didn't work. Like, I just hate that. And it's like, it's one of those things that I'm like, I feel like this happens, like, a lot in real life, too. So I'm like, this is very much, like, one of those things that you draw from real life. But, like, to me, like, that plot point was very, 500 Days of Summer, personally. Where it's like, oh, like, he gets dumped and then, like, you know, and then he goes and he has to find himself to be able to, like, get the girl and all that shit. Which is, like fair and true, because you do have to, like, put yourself into perspective and work on your life and figure out your own shit out before you ever get involved with anyone. But, like, this was just so...
And write your Dracula musical. You have to get your life together and write your Dracula rock opera Muppet musical. Like, that's so true for all of us.
I get it. Get your passion... Don't get under someone to get over someone. You need to write your passion project.
But I so agree, and at one point he even says to her, like, I know we've only known each other for 4 days, but there's something here, you can feel it, and I can feel it too. And I almost felt like there was gonna be, like, a self-aware, like, I'm writing a stupid rom-com, and I'm gonna make a point that we've only known each other for 4 days, and that's gonna be, like, a self-referential joke. But then it was, like, almost too earnest, and I was like, what the fuck? And I realized that then he did the thing where she said, don't call me, and then he went off to find himself, and then they get together. But I still so agree with you that this whole, like, he has to, like, go through, like, not emotionally manipulating someone per se, but just that he needed that, like, thing to get over this other thing, where, like, truly, he should have just written the fucking rock opera. Don't even go to Hawaii, you stupid fuck.
Save your money.
Okay, I hate to... No, don't even save your money, because you know about the over-tourism in Hawaii? Residents in Hawaii
I'm well aware.
The people... So, fuck this... I mean, not fuck this movie, but, like, nothing should be promoting tourism to Hawaii, especially today, because literally the people who live there are, like, begging people not to vacation there because it's literally draining their economy. There's so many resource shortages because everything gets funneled into these resorts that the locals do not own or really get to profit from, and it's really fucked up. So if you're planning a vacation, if you're planning a honeymoon, if you get dumped and you want a resort to go to, don't fucking go to Hawaii, is the stance of
go
this
to
podcast.
Orlando. Go to fucking Orlando to get over your ex, you piece of shit.
Right? And honestly, I feel like if you're gonna go to one of those resort type places anyways, just literally pick any island and they're kind of all the same. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like,
no.
Go to Aruba. Go to Turks and Caicos. Go to, like,
I'm telling you to just, like, stay in the U.S. Like, don't, like, drain, like, these other, like, smaller nations' economies. Yeah. Like, it doesn't just, like, stick with Hawaii. It's, like, a handful of these other places, too.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like I've been seeing a lot of people being like, please, for the love of God, stop fucking coming here. And I don't know, this movie just made me think about, like, because there are people who seem to be, like, Native Hawaiians working at these resorts, but they're always, like, line cooks or buffet chefs, and all the people who
front
are, like,
desk are,
and
like,
all, like,
white.
the white people are, like, the front desk, and I'm just like, ooh, I'm sure this movie, like, was not self-aware even a little bit about that, but looking back, I'm like, ooh, this really did not age well in the way that it seems, is kind of, like, classist, racist a little bit in the context of, like, shitty resorts in, like, native islands. But that was, like, a whole side tangent. I'm sure nobody gave a fuck in 2008.
Oh, no, definitely not. But, yeah, just vacations somewhere in the U.S. Do you know how many fucking beaches we have? Or not the U.S.
Dude, come to Maine.
I was gonna say, I'm saying that, like, people in the U.S. are the only people that listen to these podcasts. If you live in England, I'm sorry, you don't get any warm beaches.
Normandy? Is that a beach? Dunkirk? I don't know.
You see how our education system failed us. Normandy's and I'm not even going to say because I'm scared of getting it wrong. France?
All right, we are back at it again with another Chocolate or Vanilla interim podcast segment hosted by my wonderful mother, Jen. She comes in halfway through the show. We play a game of her invention called Chocolate or Vanilla. She just says two things. We all say which one we like better. It's a romp. It's a hoot. It's a holler. Jen, is there a theme this week?
There's like a double theme this week.
Ooh.
Okay, great.
Part of it is like this star-studded cast, and the other half is breakup movies.
Okay, so they both thematically on trend.
Yes. Oh, so chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
I'm gonna go with chocolate.
I'll stick with vanilla today.
I'm gonna go with strawberry.
You're just on the strawberry train lately, Jen.
Yeah, lately. Honestly, I think it's a summer thing, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. They're in season, so.
All right, so first one is Kristen Bell in this or Kristen Bell in The Good Place?
Oh, she's just such like an unlikable nothing character in this movie to me, and I kind of fucked with The Good Place. I don't know if I watched all the seasons, but I definitely watched like the first two when they came out.
It's a very good show.
And I feel like I liked that show, and I liked how it kind of kept me on my toes. Like, I didn't expect, usually TV in that kind of genre is like pretty predictable and boring, and that show really like kind of is still that format, but like does the things you don't expect. So I like that show. So I'll say her in The Good Place for sure.
Yeah, I'll also go for The Good Place on this one. I think I also only watched like the first season, but it was still very good. And like you said, she was doing nothing for me in this movie except giving me a reason to hate her. So
yeah, I'll go for The Good Place also. Next one is Jason Segel in this or Jason Segel in How I Met Your Mother. You knew that's what I was going to say.
Honestly, he's the same. He's just the same guy in everything he plays. Like, he's always the same character, so it's like kind of hard to distinguish. But honestly, I guess I'll say him in this because Marshall Erickson did not write a Dracula puppet rock opera musical. So I'll have to give it to whatever his name is in this. Peter?
Peter, yeah.
Is his name Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it to Peter.
I'm also gonna have to give it to Peter. I used to like How I Met Your Mother, but like now it's almost like the idea of How I Met Your Mother like really irks me for some reason. And I just
totally agree.
You know what I mean? And I just liked his character, I think, more than I did with Marshall. It's probably because I thought Lily was really annoying, so those two. So she kind of rubs off on him, so I'll go for Peter.
All right, I'll take Peter too. Next one is Legally Blonde or When Harry Met Sally.
I've never seen When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, it's really good.
I feel like I should.
We should probably do it this month.
So, yeah, I'll have to say Legally Blonde just for the statistics.
I gotta go for When Harry Met Sally. I watched it pretty recently, and I forget how iconic and just good of a movie is. Like, I forget like how much I like Billy Crystal, and then I watch anything Billy Crystal's ever in, and I'm like, oh my god, look at Billy Crystal go. He's so good, so I'll say that. Yeah,
I like both these movies. When you watched When Harry Met Sally recently, is there anything about it like that doesn't age well?
I'd say it's still good. I feel like if I paid attention to it a little more, because I kind of half watched it this last time. I'm sure there's a couple things. I think like Harry can be a bit misogynistic sometimes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
So there's definitely that, but like, would I say he's worse than Brendan Fraser in The Mummy? No. So
Yeah, I will take Legally Blonde because I just love anything that gets made into a musical. So I'm gonna go Legally
that's
Blonde.
fair.
Next one is Paul Rudd in this, or in Anchorman, or in Clueless.
I'll take him in this. He was a really nice comic relief for me in this movie. I did not think this movie was funny, but I did exhale fast out of my nose at most of the things Paul Rudd said. So I guess I'll say him in this because even though he's hot in Clueless, he does like want to fuck his stepsister, and that's not cool. And I've never seen Anchorman, and I don't. Those kind of comedies like usually don't really speak to me, so I have no desire. So I'll say him in this.
I have seen Anchorman, but it was like probably like 10 years ago, so I don't remember. I've never seen Clueless, and he honestly didn't really do it for me in this. So I guess by default I'll just say Anchorman.
All right, I'll say Clueless because I like any movie that's like a retelling of a story, and that's supposed to be like Emma retold or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Next one is The Wedding Singer or To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
I've never seen The Wedding Singer, so like I'm gonna be like a fucking broken record this month of me being like, I have never seen any rom-coms. But I've never seen that one. But I have seen To All the Boys I Love Before, and I remember thinking that it was charming. So I don't think I watched any of the sequels. There are like fucking 5 sequels, right? I haven't seen any of those. But I was charmed by the first one, so I'll say that.
Who's in The Wedding Singer?
Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. You could do a whole month of just the movies those two have done together.
That's true. I haven't seen that one. And I only like Adam Sandler when he's being a serious actor, which is 1 out of 90 movies.
Which has been only in the last 2 years.
So I'll go for To All the Boys I Loved Before because I have seen that one, and even though I hate Noah Centineo, I'll give it to him. He did okay with that one.
Do you hate him? Is he not a good guy?
He's just a really shitty actor, but like for some reason, like he can like turn it on like for like that movie a little bit, or like he just fits really well for like that. So I don't know. And he's just fucking weird from what I've seen.
I'm gonna go with The Wedding Singer, and you guys could have done that movie with when you did the month of really good soundtracks. The soundtrack on Wedding Singer is really good.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Next one is Mila Kunis in this, or Mila Kunis in That 70s Show.
Obviously, That 70s Show. Icon. Jackie is a fucking legend, and she carries that show some of the time. I mean, great cast, but they're just like, she's such a scene stealer, like, icon. Yes.
She's just an overall great actress. And I'm gonna have to go with you on this That 70s Show as well. I just think it's amazing how that show started, and she was 14 doing that. And she was so good.
Wild.
So, yeah, for sure her in that.
Yeah, same. Sweet for That 70s Show is Jackie. Next one is Pretty in Pink or Say Anything.
I feel like I always mix up Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles.
It's because it's the same movie.
And yeah, and it's like I have to think really hard about like differentiating plot points in those two movies to be like which one.
Pretty in Pink's the one that has that guy from 2.5 Men in it, right?
John Cryer.
Yeah, John Cryer. And
Duffy.
16. Yeah, and 16 Candles has, like, no one else that's really, like, that notable, right?
He's got, like, Michael Anthony Hall and,
yeah, that one, yeah. Those two are, like, the differentiating, like, weird side characters, you know what I mean? But
even though,
it's the same.
Even though I don't really care for it, I'll still pick it, because what was my other choice? I've never seen
Say Anything? One. That's the one where he puts the boombox over his head when he's trying to get her back. You've never seen, he's wearing a trench coat and he plays In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel in a boombox lifted over his head. Yeah.
I know the trope, like I know that it's like referenced throughout media, but I've never seen the
John
source
Cusack,
material.
Emily Sky, and also a really good soundtrack.
Did you say Joan Cusack?
John and Joan. They play brother and sister in this movie. Yeah.
Oh. See, that's like...
Wait, then I changed my answer. Then. Anything for Joan Cusack.
I was going to say, if Joan Cusack's in it, that's what I'm picking. Because obviously, Pretty in Pink hasn't left that much of an impression on me. So, yeah. The Joan Cusack movie.
All right. I will say the John and Joan Cusack movie, too. Say anything. Next one is Russell Brand in this, or Russell Brand as the voice of the bunny in the 2011 movie Hop.
I hate him.
Can I pick Russell Brand? Russell Brand never. Russell Brand literally never. I guess I didn't have to look at his face when he was being a voice actor, though, so I guess I'll pick him as the voice of an animated bunny.
I feel like that would annoy me even more, though, and, also I've never seen that movie, so I guess I'll just go for him in this.
I guess I'll take him in this. I thought he says the most absurd things. I think actors who can do that, who can just say just stupid things with a straight face, I think he pulled that off. Next one is Call Me By Your Name or Crazy Stupid Love.
I hate both. Well, I don't hate Call Me By Your Name, but I just
the principle of it.
Yeah. It's just and it's just it hasn't aged well. It's really, either particularly.
It's really hard for me because I do like that movie. I like that movie a lot, genuinely, which sucks.
I'll say I love Timothée Chalamet and I really liked the soundtrack, so I'll pick Call Me By Your Name because I fucking hate Crazy Stupid Love.
Why do you hate it? It's really funny.
Is that the Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling one? And all that?
Emma Stone.
I hate
well, I know you don't like Emma Stone, do you?
I feel neutral. I feel ambivalent about her.
Okay.
No particular strong feelings.
I've never seen that movie, but I do like Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone both. However, yeah, like Dara said, I love Timothée Chalamet. I love the soundtrack for Call Me By Your Name. I think the movie itself is gorgeous. I just hate parts of the premise. So, unfortunately, I am still gonna have to pick it though, because it does hit a little soft spot for me.
All right, I'm gonna take Crazy Stupid Love because I like movies where there's 8 storylines going on at the same time.
I have heard it's a very good movie, so I'll have to watch it. Maybe we'll force Dara to watch it this month.
I feel like I've seen it so many times because it's one of those ones that just is always on TV, and I feel like my parents would stop and keep it on.
My mom would always put on The Wedding Date and all that stuff, a lot of the 80s, 90s rom-coms and everything like that. So
next one is Bill Hader in this as the voice of fear in Inside Out or in Superbad.
Ooh, him in Superbad. Really my favorite is him as Barry. New season of Barry. I think that is I might argue to say one of the best acting performances by an actor in the past 20 years is him in the show Barry.
In the general show or I don't know. In this season, because I've only watched the first season.
In the show as a whole. I it just does something for me. But I love him as the fucked up cop in Superbad as well. So I'll say
yeah. I will say that Bill Hader did help this movie along for me. But for sure, it's him as the cop in Superbad. It's just classic. It's iconic. Plus, it's the duo of him and Seth Rogen is so fucking good.
I'm gonna take Inside Out just because I really like that movie.
I've never seen it, which is really bad. I feel like I need to, for my mental health. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I sobbed in the movie theater, and I remember being a movie hasn't made me cry in however many years, and this is a fucking Pixar movie. And I was like, fuck you for getting to me, because I know this was your intention.
Quick side tangent. Should I watch that, or should I rewatch Everything Everywhere All at Once? Because recently I was sitting there and I was like, I need to be reminded that nothing matters, so...
Definitely. I mean, I would say, when's the last time you watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, though? You've
March.
Seen it, twice within the
I've only seen it once.
Yeah, so... Oh, okay. I loved my second watch was my favorite watch because you get more. I don't know. I would definitely run that.
Okay. Word. I'm gonna.
Objectively a better film than Inside Out.
I'll put an Inside Out as my follow-up movie for that. I'm gonna just cry for like 5 hours straight.
Next one is Bridget Jones' Diary or John Tucker Must Die.
Haven't seen either.
Yeah, I haven't seen either, but Meryl Streep is Bridget Jones, right?
No, Renee Zellweger.
No? What am I thinking of then? Oh, I think I'm thinking of Kramer versus Kramer.
Which is a very different movie.
I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah. I'll pick Bridget Jones's Diary because it made me think about Meryl Streep, I guess.
What was my second option besides Bridget Jones?
John Tucker Must Die. These 3 girls in high school just gang up on this boy that's been like two-timing them.
I think I've seen that one, but also what is it? Who plays the love interest in Bridget Jones?
Colin Farrell.
Firth, not Farrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Colin Firth, so I'll go with that for him.
I will take Bridget Jones' Diary also. Next one is Jonah Hill in Moneyball or in Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. He's so good in that. I mean, he's so good in everything, but his performance in Wolf of Wall Street really drags that movie up for me.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm starting to get really fucking annoyed, he will then, like, come in and make me laugh. And I'm like, this movie's not bad. So I'll definitely say him in Wolf of Wall Street.
He's sort of, again, like, similarly to Bill Hader and, like, what you just said, Derry, he did that for me in this movie a lot, too. Even though his bit did get a bit tired. But yeah, it's Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, that's the only thing we talked about during our Wolf of Wall Street episode was how good he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take him in Wolf of Wall Street also, definitely. Next one is Table 19 or The Last 5 Years.
Nope.
Nothing?
No, you've lost me again.
So they both have
Table 19?
They both have Anna Kendrick, and she's
I know The Last 5 Years.
She's at a wedding, and she's she used to be a couple with the best man, but since they broke up, they put her at the like singles table, and it's just like, again, like little 4 different stories going on at once about all these like random weirdos at the single table. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I'll pick that one, sure.
I personally really like The Last 5 Years. I thought that it's a musical.
Yeah.
So, and it's her and Jeremy Jordan. And I just think it's a really interesting concept, the way they do it. Because it's basically, from like her point of view, it's telling their relationship backwards. And from his point of view, it's telling it going forwards. And it sort of meets in the middle. And it was a musical before it was a movie and everything like that. But like also like I think the music for the movie was a lot better done than the original Broadway cast. And it's one that I will find myself singing in the car. So I'm definitely going with that one.
Yeah, me too. I love actors who I didn't realize they could sing, you know. Yeah.
I know your household is a very big what's it called? Pitch Perfect one. Yeah. So
and he's in Supergirl, so I love everything about Supergirl.
He is very much more like the Broadway guy, though. Like
when they do crossover musical episodes, he's really good in them. What, Chocolate or Vanilla Supergirl? Like... Chocolate
or Vanilla Drinking Game. Take a shot every time Jen brings up a CW superhero show and fucking die of liver failure.
All right.
She's got her hobbies. This is our hobby. Leave her alone.
Next one is Jason Bateman in this, or in Horrible Bosses, or in Dodgeball.
I haven't seen Horrible Bosses. Oh, I think I have seen Dodgeball. But again, not really much of a lasting impression. So I guess I'll say this.
Jason Bateman's in this?
He's like, you know when they're showing the scenes of her shows, he's in one of those little snips.
Yeah, very like a cameo. Yeah, not even.
You guys should, oh my god, you should have seen me for like the last 2 minutes. I was sitting there, I was like, wait, where? Like replaying the movie in my head. I'm like, where was Jason Bateman?
You're scrubbing through your memory and be like, where the fuck? I'm like,
no, that's Paul Rudd. Did I miss? hold on, what were my options? This, Horrible Bosses, or what was the other one?
Dodgeball.
I'll go with this, because honestly, he must have, like, fit in really well for me to not have even noticed him. And I can't say I've seen either of the other two.
All right, I'll take Dodgeball. He has this really funny line. Somebody puts on, like, a blindfold, and he's like, he's not going to be able to see very well, Cotton. It's just really funny. All right, last one is Kill Bill or Birds of Prey.
How does that tie to the theme? Oh, okay, yeah, definitely Kill Bill, obviously. That's a fave on the
Kill
pod.
Bill. I do like that little twist you threw in, though. I like that. That's fun. Kill Bill.
Yeah, Kill Bill for me, too. And that is everything.
That was great. Yeah. Wow, you're really making me realize, like, how many people in this movie have just, like, been in so many other bad rom-coms. So thanks for also pointing out how many rom-coms I haven't seen. Running theme this month. Let's just do a tally. Like, how many popular rom-coms has Darren not seen? All of them. So thank you, as always, for showing up, asking us questions, and letting us share our opinion. I haven't posted in a really long time on the Instagram, so maybe I will remember to this week. We'll see. But keep your eyes peeled for that. And as always, Jen, we love you, and thank you very much.
I love you guys. Have an awesome week. Bye.
But, okay, so I do want to say that, like, Jason Segel, to me, is, like, very unfortunately falls into this trap where he just kind of plays the same guy all the time, which is just, like, a little annoying, and he is lovable and likable and charming, so I think it works for him and good for him for making a decent career out of it, but as a viewer, it just kind of gets old, and it's always that, like, he's kind of the bumbling idiot who's just a little less shitty to women than all the other men in the vicinity. And for that reason, he is charming and likable. And it's kind of that situation.
Do you think he's a little less... Okay. And I think this just, like, is me talking about, like, from the perspective of, like, the dad bod guys that we kind of talked about a little bit earlier. Do you think it's just because they're like, okay, I can't be as shitty to women as, like, other guys because I'm, like, not as hot as other guys. So I have to be, like, the charming, like, funny guy. You know what I mean?
But for it still comes with the same kind of amount of, like, entitlement and misogyny, but it's just masked as, like, oh, I'm kind of hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, I'm kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
It's all it's all the same.
Russell Brand's character was a piece of shit, and I'm not gonna, like, defend him, but there were points in this movie where I'm like, it's a toss-up. Both of them kind of fucking
at least Russell Brand is, like, upfront about being a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Is it bad to say that? Like, at least you're outwardly a piece of shit instead of, like, hiding it, and then I have to later find out that you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Right. I totally agree. There was that scene in the movie where all four of them go out to dinner together, and basically Russell Brand says, like, everyone but him is getting drunk, because there's this whole plot line about his sobriety, which is also just true of Russell Brand in real life. He's very, like, I used to be an addict, and I was a piece of shit, and now I'm sober, but, like, he still isn't that great of a person, but it's very outwardly, like, a champion for, like, sobriety or whatever, so they just, made that true of his character here, because, why not just be so transparent that we're having him be himself? Yeah. But he's, sober and everyone else is drinking all this wine. And he's like, well, I think, you should just live in the moment, fuck whoever you want to fuck because, like, life is short. And then Jason Segel is like, well, no, I think you should really get to know a woman first. And I'm like, honestly, I know it hasn't been covered, like, within the plot of the movie. But if he had said to Kristen Bell, like, I'm not looking for anything serious. I'm just down to fuck. You're a good fuck and I like you. And let's hang out. Let's go on vacation together and fuck before I have to go to my tour. And also, I'm gonna fuck other people, too. And I'll let you know. Just, ask. I'll let you... Because he says it, too. He's like, yeah, I fucked the housekeeper. I fucked my driver. Like, he does seem to be better about communicating it. Again, she's reacting as if these are things that she doesn't know, but it's constantly coming up. So I'm like, if he's just saying that this is sort of his deal, and he's establishing that this is his deal, which again, I think I'm giving him a little more credit than what is true in the movie. But then Jason Segel putting on this whole, like, well, I'm the nice guy. I'm the nice guy who really wants to go on a hike with you and get to know you. But then it's still gonna be a piece of shit. So I'm like, at least Russell Brand is just saying, like, yeah, I'm just trying to hang out and bone. I'm just trying to hang out and bone, man. I'm like, that's at least he's saying what he wants, but because Jason Segel is like...
It's the issue of him not saying it off the bat kind of thing, which, like, I will give, like, Jason Segel, like, I get what you're saying, I don't know, because I don't think either of them are any better, because, like, at the same time, Jason Segel's character immediately went to Mila Kunis, like a little, like, puppy with his tail between his legs, saying, hey, sorry, my ex sucked my dick for, like, 30 seconds. I don't want you to be mad at me. Are you mad at me? Like, neither of them are good. Like, yeah.
No.
They both suck.
That's true. But I at least was like, I don't know, this guy seems at least a little bit more,
I feel like,
or at least, like, you can tell, like, transparent, like, you can kind of see.
Yeah, like, Kristen Bell, like...
Whereas Jason Segel's like, I'm gonna pretend to be a nice guy, but then I'm gonna stab you in the back. Or, like, then I'm gonna be an asshole to you, rather than, like, this guy's like, I'm just an asshole all the time.
Like, Kristen Bell, like, not realizing that off the bat, I think that's her problem.
Idiot.
Like, you're just fucking stupid on that one.
And that's as soon as he said to Jason Segel, like, oh yeah, we have been fucking for the past year. And, like, he realized, like, oh, it wasn't just, like, she dumped me and immediately moved on. Or, like, she, you know, had been interested in someone and moved on. That it was, like, deep into their relationship. Then I found absolutely no redeemable part of her character. Like, when she was... I mean, I'm sure that's how it was meant to be. But, like, when she was crying to him, I was like, literally go fuck yourself. I'm like, he should be acting way more, like... What the... Like, don't even fucking... I would have left. I would be like, don't fucking talk to me. Like, I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Just, it was stupid. That whole part of the movie, I'm like, then what? At what point am I supposed to, like, believe that this is, like, a redeemable thing that they can make up for? I don't know.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Also, like, I just didn't... I think you said this earlier, but, like, I just wasn't really rooting for Jason Segel and Mila Kunis that much. Like... I get it, like, they, like, yeah, he was, like, having fun again. But, like, I just feel like, and obviously, like, in a rom-com, like, you're not sitting there, like, developing your characters, like, that much and everything like that, but, like,
I think you can,
but, like,
though.
you
I think
can.
there are rom-coms that really do.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's a handful, and I hope we get to, like, one or two of them where I can talk about it, because there's a few that do that, but, like, this, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what do they have to go off of? He's sad, and he's just feeling happy for the first time in, like, 3 weeks. That's literally all this is. Like, you don't have a connection, you're feeling validated because this girl likes your vampire musical, and she smiled at you, and she's really hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because she's fucking Mila Kunis, like, of course. But to me, she, like, her character was, I hate, like, this is one of the worst iteration of, like, not like most girls trope that I absolutely hate, because there's the sort of manic pixie dream girl iteration. But
at least she's, like, a little interesting. Like, she's quirky. She has hobbies.
But, like, she's quirky. She has blue hair, and she plays the harp. Yeah, right? And that's obviously, like, you're romanticizing a person for certain reasons that's also toxic, and, you know, we've gotten into that before. But at least, like, yeah, she actually maybe is a little bit different, whereas this girl is, like, she's the guy's girl, but she's hyper feminine, and she's a 10.
And she drinks beer.
She drinks beer. She drinks beer, and she can get her own beer from the bar. When you offer to pull out her chair for her, she says, I got it. But she still is wearing booty shorts and, like, has her left tit out. Like, I fucking hate that shit. Because that sets a precedent, or at least I think kind of has, over the early 2000s, set a precedent of, like, if you're a woman and you want to act like a guy's girl, but you still want to be desired, that you have to be this, like, I'm so down to... You know, I'm down to get down.
You can't have a boundary, also, basically.
Right, yes, I'm willing to do anything, but also I'm so hot. And I'm still being hyper feminine and so hot while doing all these masculine things. Yeah, it's just, like, so gross, and I think sort of perpetuates this sort of attitude of, like, that's how guys will like you the most. That I really think implemented to a lot of, like, young women in the early 2000s of, like, being a guy's girl and being the cool girl who's down. The cool girl speech from fucking Gone Girl. Like, yeah, she's so down. It's,
exactly.
Right? That's... and this kind of movie where it's, like, Mila Kunis, she's gonna skip work to go on a hike with you and jump into the
tiniest booty shorts you ever seen in your life, which, shameless... Yeah, literally, I've never seen shorts that short. But if you want shorts that are a little more modest, but still show some tasteful cheek, go check out our website. we have swamp booty shorts available for your purchase. So go check it out.
They're like a nice, like, they're like an athletic, almost like men's swimsuit, like boxer swimsuit kind of material, like kind of a athletic short, and they do say the word swamp directly across the ass, so just gauge your comfort level with that, but go check those out, because I honestly put them up as a joke. No one's bought them, but I'm gonna literally crack the fuck up as soon as somebody does. I think they're like
I need to buy them first of all, so
yeah. I think I also should buy a pair. Yeah, now that I don't live in an apartment with air conditioning anymore, I'm like sweating my balls off. I'm like, maybe I need some like moisture wicking swamp shorts for my swamp ass. For my literal swamp ass.
Speaking of how you talked about how these were like swimsuit vibes sort of thing, it's so funny because they put Mila Kunis in the tiniest little shorts, and Jason Segel gave rash guard representation in this movie. Which is very much like, she's like, I'm not like most girls, and he's like I am every man.
I am like 90% of men. I am in the 90th percentile of all men. I'm literally like most men. That's, that the not like most girls girl with the I am every man. Oh, what
I am too white. I need a rash guard.
But I mean, there were parts of this movie that I found charming and endearing, especially, you know, him writing the Muppet Dracula musical. Like, that was so funny and quirky and came in so strong at the end, and I'm like, I almost wish we had gotten more of that, but I really don't know how it would have fit. It's kind of random, but it was great, but it was like, what the
it's like fuck? Very high, like, ups, and then like just so mediocre for like every other part of it, which like sucks. Like, one for me was the psychiatrist song or whatever. It's like he's like gone home from Hawaii and he's like figuring his shit out or whatever, and you just see him like singing this song on the piano, and he's like, go to the psychiatrist, I don't like the psychiatrist, and everything like that. And it's so good. Like, I genuinely wish we got more of him, like, singing and all that shit, because I feel like that was, like, personally a highlight, because, like, the songs were pretty funny.
Yeah, same. No, I agree, but, like, how do you even rework this movie to have, like, less Hawaii and more, like, him alone? Yeah. Like, I don't even, like...
It would have been a lot for me if, like, we got to, like, meet his character more, because, like, they were, like, kind of, like... They kind of let you know that he wasn't in a good place and all that shit, because it starts out with him, like, trying to get work done and then, like, eating a giant bowl of cereal and, like, watching TV sort of thing. But, like, also, like, that's just me, because I get sidetracked, you know what I mean? Like, that's not, like, show me his depression pile of clothes that he sleeps on top of and everything like that. Like, I need more of, like, how he actually lives his life, and then I can actually understand why Kristen Bell, like, breaks up with him, instead of having to get explained why she breaks up with him. I'd rather, like, show me, don't tell me.
Yes, I so agree, because that really frustrated me, that whole speech where she was like, I'm finally gonna come clean. It's been brewing for years. These are all that you never change out of your sweatpants. You never leave the couch. I tried so hard over the years to subtly nudge you in the right direction. And I just think, like, that is so unhealthy. I think that none of the relationships in this movie are healthy. And the part where she's, like, kind of doing a confession and coming clean is on, like, the thing that you're admitting to is super unhealthy. Tell him. Be like, bro, you haven't changed out of sweatpants in 3 weeks, and I'm really concerned for your mental health, and I think we should talk about it. That's how you fucking deal with that shit. She's like, I secretly went to therapy, and no, just, like, communicate with your partner. It was so, like, her being like, you weren't acting up to my expectations, and I never said anything to you, but you never picked up on my weird, subtle hints. And, like, to be on the receiving end of that in real life, because I'm sure this, like, is so weird. I'm like, just fucking tell your partner what they're doing that's upsetting like, you. Or, like,
that's also another thing of, like, if you can't communicate to your partner, like, you shouldn't be in that relationship to begin with. Like, from the jump.
But that's like being like, you're so lazy and you seem so depressed and that's why I left you. Well, like, maybe then ask them like, what's going on.
Like, communicate some concern. Like, say, hey, are you okay? Like,
Yeah. Or, like, I've noticed these things. Is there anything I can do to help? The whole, like, he only wears sweatpants and eats cereal on the couch stereotype of depression. Yeah. I'm so over it. Because I'm like, you can actually, like, be at a really happy and healthy place in your life and be doing that, you know? That's not necessarily a red flag. You know, maybe it is a little bit, but, like, I don't know. Maybe I do eat a fucking bowl of cereal on my couch and I'm fine, you know? So, I mean, not, like, me specifically, but just people in general. I just didn't like this sort of perpetuating of those, like, certain stereotypes.
It's very 2008. For sure.
Oh, yeah. And that was supposed to be the moment in the movie where, like, everything was really becoming so clear, and now we're supposed to get her. And I'm like, no. I'm like, literally, you're just a fucking bitch. Like, then you should have dumped him 3 years ago then. Then if you were doing all these subtle hints, then don't fucking cheat on someone. I mean, again, granted, it's a movie. We weren't supposed to like her, I don't think. But I was just annoyed. And the fact that if a rom-com is annoying me more than it's making me laugh, then that's clearly a problem. Like, my mouth was corked up in that, like, sort of nose scrunched, like, huh? Most of the time. And then, like, as soon as Jonah Hill was on the screen again, I would, like, ha, chuckle. Or, like there were a couple, you know, there were a couple of funny moments, but most of the time I was like, what the fuck is this movie trying to say right now? I don't know. That was maybe just me.
You're so right. Do we want to close our little rant and get into our regularly scheduled programming? Gorgeous.
Absolutely. So I think if we're going to start off really strong with a fuck, marry, kill, I think we
Bell,
can do
Mila Kunis
and Jason Segel, because, you know, obviously kill Russell Brand. We're not even going to add him in the mix. And I think clearly, I think I'm going to fuck Mila Kunis. Well, actually, after I've just gone on this whole rant about how much I hate Kristen Bell's character, I'm definitely not going to marry... I was going to say marry her for her money, but she literally just lost her TV role. Yeah. So actually, I'll fuck Kristen Bell. Yeah. Because she is hot, but she does seem boring. Yeah. I'll marry Mila Kunis, because then maybe we can... I don't know. I can, like... We can figure something out. Mila Kunis is just so hot. I want to be having, you know, constant relations with Mila Kunis, if it's an option to me. And I'm just gonna kill Jason Segel, because he just, like, isn't what I'm looking for, per se, as far as, like...
Yeah.
His character just kind of irritated me. I don't know.
Yeah. He fully is giving fucking Tom from 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Or, well, I mean, like, a little less manipulative, but still in the way of, like, I think I deserve to have sex with you because I asked you, like, what your favorite color was kind of energy. Or, like, you know, I asked you about what your plans for the future were. So now, you know, sit on my face kind of thing.
Like, that's one of those things, like, I didn't find him, like, that manipulative, personally. But, like...
Not manipulative, but I'm like, can you please recognize that you got dumped 2 weeks ago and that this thing you're doing is, like, not legit? And also, like, just
this
stop.
Is, like, just know that this is, like, not good for you and what you should be doing.
Yeah. You're having fun, you're just, I'm stupid.
Take 3 months to yourself after every breakup. Like, come on. 3 weeks is not enough.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, you're right. Mila Kunis. I'll marry Mila Kunis. We can, move off of Hawaii, because we shouldn't be there in the first place. And she can go to school, and
For what? Literally for what?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna go to school. I'm like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a fucking nurse? Do you want to study psychology? Do you want to be a doctor? Like, what do you want to do? Like, she never fucking said. She's like, I dropped out of school to follow a surfer, and then her whole thing was like, he was encouraging her to go back to school. But I'm like, for fucking
what?
I mean,
what did you do?
You can want to, like, you know, progress your life in a certain direction, but just, like, saying you want to go back to school.
Just tell me what are your interests? Please, just one interest, one hobby. Name one hobby.
Miss, for the love of God.
Miss, for $1, name a hobby. But yeah, I'll marry Mila Kunis, and I'll hopefully encourage her to find what she's passionate about, because it doesn't seem like she actually knows. Yeah. So we'll explore that, and I'll be really encouraging. And like you said, I also get to have regular relations with Mila Kunis, so that's pretty tight. Yeah. Well, like, here's my thing, because I guess I'll fuck Kristen Bell. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think it'd be like the sex with, like, Jason Segel would be like fun, goofy sex. You know what I mean? Which is fun sometimes. You know what I mean?
I want the puppet to be present.
Yeah, exactly. You can get, like, come on. You could probably get 2 puppets involved. Kristen Bell seems like she's not willing to go more than 30 minutes, and that's just not going to do it for me.
Right. That's just of things that I find objectively unfunny. This movie did kind of a lot, not to jump back into it, but people just being drunk. Him just drinking at the bar and him just sipping different drinks and then getting more drunk with no foreseeable punchline. That's not fucking funny. People just having sex. That's not funny. That's not a punchline to a joke. That's just people fucking, and you're like, look at how obscene we're being. There are people fucking, but no, it's just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Men crying again, no, and not as a punchline to anything. Just, oh, look at Jason Segel's so vulnerable with his emotions. He's gonna cry loudly in public. That's not fucking funny. Again, 2008, very 2008. But then also STI jokes.
It definitely did more for 2008 because this did have a 7.1 on IMDb kind of thing. I don't think it's definitely if I was watching this at the age I'm at in 2008, I probably would have thought it's funny. I just think humor's evolved a little bit too much for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those are just things I took note of that I'm like, Jesus, that's not a joke. That's not that's not that's not actually funny. That's just you doing a thing. But anyways, from the whole movie, I was gonna say fuck, marry, kill for Bill Hader, Paul Rudd, and Jason Segel, but honestly, let's just get into the full expansion.
I know exactly what I want.
Okay, please do.
I want to marry the cook. He's the guy that brings Jason Segel out to cook the pig kind of thing. Yep. He just seems lovely, and I just want. What? Is
wild to me that your mom suggested we do a rom-com month because of my wedding, and the theme of my wedding is pig roast, and the first movie we watch, unknowingly to me, features a whole scene about a pig roast. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was so topical. I just felt a certain way about that. Anyways.
No?
We're having the Hawaiian pig roast. That's
I can't believe you're actually theme. You're digging a pit.
Yeah, we're digging a pit for a pig. My literal wedding invitations had a pig on them. To tell people there will be a whole pig.
I'm about to tell so many people because I don't think anyone's realized that there's going to be a pig roast. I'm going to make everyone's day.
No, let them be shocked.
Okay.
Well, it's not that surprising, but
it would be rather surprising if you show up to a shindig and there's a whole pig roast. Yeah.
I just thought that was funny that this was in the movie that we kicked off. But anyways, I think that's a great choice for marriage.
Yeah. He seems so lovely. And just a big teddy bear. I want that. I'm gonna see, genuinely, I'd marry Mila Kunis, or fuck Mila Kunis, blah, blah, blah. But I really want to fuck, specifically, Bill Hader after he performed in the puppet show. Because he's riding that, adrenaline high, because you could tell he got really into it, and I want him to still be in that, black bodysuit.
You want to fuck Bill Hader backstage in a community theater stage prep room while he's still in a morph suit. You cut the dick hole out of the morph suit.
Yep.
He's still holding the puppet. He's still in character.
That's exactly it. He was pumped full of adrenaline. I bet it'd be great sex.
The performance of a lifetime. Genuinely. Twice in one night.
Yeah. Oh my god. And I'm gonna kill Russell Brand, obviously, because fuck Russell Brand.
So true. I'm gonna fuck Kenneth from 30 Rock's horny wife. Because
that's really good.
She's really hot and
You're gonna go 9 rounds.
Yeah, it's gonna be something to commemorate.
That's a 24-hour thing. You have to carve out a whole day for that.
Right, I might not be fit for it, but I think I'm more fit for it than Kenneth from 30 Rock.
Most definitely.
So I think I'm gonna step in there, as a little.
He's gonna tag you into the ring.
Right.
He'll go 1 round, you can go the next, 8.
And then I'm gonna marry the bartender who who knows all the names of the fish. He's like, huma huma nuka nuka aqua.
Oh, yeah.
He knows all the names of the fish, and he's kind of an asshole, but at one point, he's like, you gotta go to that man's show. He only sucked his ex's dick for 10 seconds, and then he told you about it. That's so wholesome. And he's doing puppets. I love puppets. And then he goes through and he names, he's like, I love Fraggle Rock, and I love the Dark Crystal. And then he goes through and names all the puppets. I'm like, I just think we'd be compatible, you know?
You'd be so
He's
compatible.
a bartender. He's a bartender, and he loves Muppets. Like, dude, those are my two favorite things. So I think I would marry him because I just think we have a lot in common. And then I'm also going to kill Russell Brand because that's just going to be really gratifying. Yeah.
So what are you going to eat and drink with this movie?
So I gave this some thought.
Okay.
And this movie features a wide variety of tiki drinks, obviously. They're on a resort in Hawaii, and there are many sequences of Jason Segel just drinking cocktails, like, by name, right? He drinks a pina colada, he drinks a margarita, he drinks
Sex
one
on
that
the
he pulls
beach,
and he pulls an entire banana out of one at one point, right? Like, it's a whole, like, there's so many referential cocktails you can do for this one, but I didn't want to be too, like, surface level and just say to do a tiki drink. I wanted to go a little deeper, so I think Dracula. The Muppet musical is about Dracula, so Dracula theme, blood, you do like a punch, so you do like a rum punch, you do like a tiki rum punch, so it's still, like, call it like, you know, tiki Dracula punch or something, you know, more creative than that, but like you know, it's red for blood, but also like tropical and punchy and rummy. That's my themed cocktail for this movie. And then for food, I have pretty recently come around to Spam. I really like Spam. A little, very like a thin fried piece of Spam on an egg sandwich is so fire. It's just like incredibly salty bacon, so you have to like, you can salt the rest of your food less. But it's amazing. Henry makes a really great Spam fried rice, and that's kind of a Hawaiian thing. So if you like pineapple as well, kind of if you like pineapple on pizza, a pineapple Spam fried rice is like kind of a more traditional Hawaiian thing, so look up our recipe for that. But because Spam is so salty, and then pineapple, and then like in a little fried rice situation,
that's hot,
very fire. And again, I think they eat a lot of like weird seafoody type fancy looking. Just to eat or drink what they're directly doing on screen to me doesn't match what I want. So I'm saying you do like a fun Hawaiian fried rice and a Dracula punch.
That's good. So, for me, I did rip a bit from the movie for your food. I didn't want to go with any, like, I don't know. For me, it was the bowl of cereal that he had, and I'm not telling you to eat cereal.
That's really good.
But it's Fruit Loops that he has. I think you make, like, you get, like, a really high quality, like, plain, like, vanilla bean ice cream, and you just douse it. Absolutely douse it in Fruit Loops.
You know what could be kind of fire? If you make like Rice Krispie treats. Like you make Rice Krispie treats, but you do it with Fruit Loops, because I've done that
you're
before.
So
but
right.
You just pick a different cereal, right? Like Reese's.
You're so right. That's so good.
Yeah, that could be good. Yeah, with a scoop of ice cream. I mean, maybe too much sugar.
No, I think with a scoop of ice cream is good. Yeah. I think that's a great idea. And then because I felt like that was going to be like a lot of sugar, I did still want to go for something that was a bit tiki, but like not anything like too much and like way too fruity, like tropical drink. So I did find a recipe for, it's called like a Hawaiian bonfire or something like that. Cause like personally, like I was looking for something that was like a whiskey drink, but still like a bit tropical, I guess. You know what I mean? So it's not like too sweet, but it's not like too like, you know what I mean? So it's like an ounce and a half of whiskey, like half an ounce of like yellow chartreuse, which like, come on, no one here that listens to this podcast is gonna have fucking yellow chartreuse.
Yeah, what the hell? I don't know what that is.
But like pineapple juice, like cinnamon syrup, which I thought was really hot. Lime juice, and then like some bitters and everything like that. I just feel like it would like offset like how sweet, which mind you, it's still gonna be sweet, but like it offset like a sweet like ice cream sort of cereal thing. So
interesting. Yeah, that sounds like sort of like a spicy Mai Tai, right? Yeah. Like, yeah, you're doing like the cinnamon syrup thing. Interesting. Because usually in a lot of tiki drinks you use almond syrup. which is, you don't think, because, like, it's, like, you know, juicy and sweet. You don't really, it doesn't immediately come to you that would be, like, almond flavor, but a lot of tiki drinks use, like, almond-flavored syrup, which is kind of interesting. But, anyways, to move on to what would you follow this movie up with?
It's obvious. Do I have to say it?
The Muppet movie.
It's the Muppet movie.
Duh.
There's no other movie. There's like that's it. That's exactly what it is. I don't think you can follow it up with any other fucking movie. It's a better Jason Segel performance. I like him and Amy Adams' relationship way better in this.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many Muppets.
Yeah.
And there's so many more
the Muppet
songs.
Ratio. So from the moment of very early on in this movie, he's sitting at a piano at the resort, sadly singing the Muppet theme song.
Yeah.
And I wrote down, oh my god, cute little reference, Muppet movie. Little did I know there would be an entire Muppet rock opera with the fucking Count later. And I was like, oh my god. But yeah, that is the absolute obvious. He was also a screenwriter on that movie.
Do you think
I do just believe is a better movie.
Do you think he got, like, brownie points for, like, his rock opera, and that's like why he got cast, kind of thing?
He must have had some, like,
some connections,
because he made that. I mean, I don't know if he personally made that Muppet that they used, but that Muppet that they used was the real Muppet that he had made to be in the rock opera that he wrote. So he clearly was somewhat invested in puppetry and had written.
He definitely
acted. So he's just kind of the perfect man, and he's kind of a Muppety guy. So
Jason Segel, if you'd like to be on the podcast, we really want to hear about your personal relationship with puppets, Muppets, anything and everything, and we want to hear all about your rock opera. Please reach out to us at theswampod at gmail.com.
Our email is in the description below. Jason Segel, I know that your publicist is listening to this, and please feel free. Your people will be in touch with our people, and by our people, I mean me.
Oh my god!
But so yeah, I think obviously immediately I was like, oh damn, now I
that's it. Movie. Unless do you have any others?
Well, so if you haven't listened to our episode about the Muppets movie, which we covered quite a while ago, almost a whole year ago, I think, but it was a really good one. I had a lot of fun doing that.
That was
one.
a really
fun one.
So if
you scroll down way back, we did cover the, I think, 2011 Muppets remake movie, which is really good. But I had two other, so that's like the obvious, like that is the one. But I had two other suggestions. So as a notorious rom-com hater, there are a few that sit in a bubble that I don't typically interact with them. I don't choose. Like, this movie, I would have never touched this movie with a 10-foot pole unless being forced to watch it for this podcast. It would have never even come into my radar. But there are a couple of rom-coms that just, like, float into my life that I'm like, oh, that wasn't so... that was cute. That was fun,
I have a feeling you're going to say Enchanted. Am I wrong or am I right?
No, you're wrong, but that is... I would say that that's more like a kids movie. I think I saw that one when I was like 11.
I've never seen it.
I think I fully watched. I think I watched it over the pandemic. But it's so there's a certain scene in this movie where he is a bunch of flashbacks of him having to carry Kristen Bell's purse, of him standing on the sidelines of all these photo shoots of like he's the less famous boyfriend, so he has to carry the purse. And it's supposed to be this whole scene of like I was such a cuck. For my famous girlfriend, and I just stood by and I carried her. And it was supposed to be a really negative thing. And if you've seen the movie Always Be My Maybe, it's a Netflix kind of rom-com about this woman who's a pretty successful chef and her sort of like high school best friend / boyfriend who's like in and out of her life. And at the end, he would be like, there's this whole scene where he's like, not to spoil anything, I guess, if you haven't seen that Netflix original rom-com, but he's like, it would be an honor to carry your purse. Because basically he like overcomes his like toxic masculinity of feeling like his partner is more successful than him and then being like, no, like it's cool that you're famous and I don't need to be famous to compete with you. And actually, I would love to stand on the sidelines and carry your purse. That would be a fucking honor because you're cool and I love you. And it's just this nice scene where like originally when he does it, he feels like a cuck, and then at the end he does it and he's like, hell yeah. Like, I love you and you're cool and I get to carry your purse. And it's more just about like him overcoming, being a shitty man. So I actually really did like that. It's, as far as much as I can like a rom-com, it didn't move me or change me, but I thought it was a cute little fun watch. Okay. So Always Be My Maybe, I thought it was funny and just like related to this because I was like, oh, that's like literally something they made. I don't know if maybe they made fun of this on purpose. But my other one was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, because you literally forget your ex.
Yeah.
So I was like, he should have just Eternal Sunshine of Sarah Marshall, just, out of his fucking brain. So you can watch that too as like sort of the more tactical.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. It's a very hard pivot from this movie as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be sobbing by the end of that one. That's good. I like that. And what would you rate this? I'm gonna give it... I'd normally give it like a 5.5, but I'll give it a 6 because my sister likes it.
I might have had more fun if I didn't watch this alone on my laptop in my hot apartment at like 3 p.m. on a fucking Monday.
Oh, that's bad.
Maybe the vibes just weren't right, but I'm gonna give this movie a 3. I think it's just has very few redeeming qualities. I would never watch it again. I would have never watched it unless we wanted to talk about it. And I just, I didn't laugh that much, and I was really hoping that it would be more funny when I looked at what the cast was. And then, like, I think my 3 points go to Mila Kunis for being fucking hot and charming as a good actress, to Jonah Hill for being the only, like, comic relief, and then maybe to Paul Rudd for just, like, showing up, right? Those are my 3 points out of 10, so...
That's fair.
I don't know.
I think that the highs, like, the funny points hit me a little harder than you did. Or not than you did, than they hit you.
Yeah, for sure.
So I didn't hate it that much, but like I definitely like when I was because I broke it up into 2 parts. I think like I started it last night while like I was waiting for my laundry to be done. So I got like 30 minutes into it, and I was like pretty about it. I was like, okay, like I can get behind this. And then watching the rest of it today, I was like, okay,
Which I honestly think the end is arguably much more exciting than the beginning.
I like the first 30 minutes at the very least, and then it really starts to slow down for me.
Yeah, it took me a while to get into it, and then I was like, okay. But that is going to be something you're hearing a lot this month because we're doing rom-coms, which I think I've said it in the past because I've just complained about them. But so slide into our DMs and tell us. I think some of you in the past have suggested rom-coms, which we've moved over to the rom-com specific list. But everyone else, give us your suggestions for rom-coms, because obviously I think Ghost is a rom-com, so clearly I need to be put in my fucking place. So come in with your suggestions of what you'd like to hear us talk about, because clearly I don't know what's what. And I'm not completely averse to the genre, I'm hoping this month to get something out of this. And I think it's kind of fitting that I'm like, my wedding's not real, there won't be a priest, and then me being like, I'm not gonna kiss anyone in public, and then also me being like, I fucking hate rom-coms, romance is stupid. So this is probably pretty fitting.
Yeah,
but I'm excited, because these movies are a lot of fun, though, and I'm excited to discuss them.
It's good conversation, too. Like, we've talked about how the fact that, like, I feel like we agree about, like, a lot of things, and I think that I forget that, like, I decently enjoy rom-coms, because I just don't watch them very much, because I feel like it's hard to, like, come by a good one. But, like, I do enjoy it.
And rewatchability is so low. Like, I'm like, why would I ever watch this again? But, anyways, yeah, so send us your suggestions in our DMs on any platform. All of the links are in the description below. Obviously, if you want to check out our Swamp Booty shorts, you don't even have to buy them. Just click on the link and take a look at them, because that's cool too. And our website and our email and all that good shit. Jason Segel's publicist, I know you're listening. Hit us up. We want to discuss puppetry. And as always, we appreciate your listenership. You are all amazing. Every message you send means the fucking world to us. And goodbye and good night.